Obviously, this video will not only be covering Baki Season 3 spoilers, but along with the next arc of Son of Ogre. So if you don't want to be spoiled, yeah, get out of here, you smell. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, for the people that would like to watch the video or don't really care about spoilers, well, enjoy. And be sure to go and subscribe to Ronin's channel down in the description. Also, I apologize for the background noise, my PS4 is really loud. Alright, so the first thing that I think is going to be going down in Season 4 is obviously the Pickle Arc. Now, this arc is going to be the longest arc in Baki up to this point, and for this reason, I think this arc is not only going to be the first season in Baki to have over 13 episodes, but it might be the first season to reach even over 20 episodes. You see, the Pickle Arc being limited only 13 episodes would make them either skip important scenes in the manga, because every single scene in this arc matters, trust me, everything in this arc all builds up with itself. And honestly, narratively, it's probably the best Baki arc up to this point, so we need all of these elements to come together nicely, just like how the anime has been consistently doing. And so for this to happen, I think we need to have this season to be over 13 episodes, and hell, maybe even like 22 or 23 episodes, because we have the stuff with Retsu, we have even the Yujiro stuff, we have the Baki training, we have the Katsumi stuff. Like, there is a lot of stuff going on in this arc, and especially the main villain himself, who has a lot going on.
I think that this arc, like Tyler has been saying, is probably going to be a little bit longer, or quite a bit longer than the previous Baki seasons that we've seen. And the reason, just to elaborate a little bit on them, is because Pickle as a character, in contrast to, like, say someone like Eugero, has a lot more, I think, exposition or showing on his mental state. Yes, albeit he is a little bit of a very simple-minded character in comparison to Eugero, whose past and actions are a lot more mysterious at times, or very, it's kind of hard to explain in at least a very concise way. But Pickle is just, I think, extrapolated on as a character. His motivations are a little bit more than I would say Yujiro is, at least until like later stuff with where Yujiro and Baki finally kind of clash, right? In regards to that, I think there's also, like Ty said, just a lot of material to go over. We have to see Katsumi kind of come into his own and obviously develop his own new style of fighting. Retsu has to go up against Pickle, which is a fight and a very big moment in itself. Baki himself clearly has to put in a lot of time, dedication, and hard work in order to become strong enough to fight against this literal dinosaur killer. And overall, there's just a lot of material going to be going on, a lot of fights, a lot of exposition, a lot of lore. All these things are going to be building up towards the climax of this arc. And I think if the Baki anime decides to kind of go with the same motif of adapting one arc with one season, like Ty said, this is going to be a rather lengthy one in comparison to the previous seasons of Baki.
I also think as well, for the fights, I mean, it seems like this is what they've been kind of going with, but like, as the manga fights get better, it seems like the anime fights also get better. Yes, this new season of Baki had a lack of fights, but that's because the arc itself had a lack of fights, but those fights were really active this season. So imagine everything that's going to be happening in the Pickle Arc, which each fight in the Pickle Arc is hype in itself. Yeah, I definitely think that this is not only going to be potentially the best season narratively if played out, you know, if the cards are played right, but also the season that might contain one of the best fights in all the anime, or manga I should say, which is Baki versus Pickle, which I think that whole conflict in itself, honestly, I could probably make a whole video on it, and hell, maybe even Ronin can hop on that.
Yeah, there's just a lot to talk about when it comes to this arc. Ty, is there anything in specific that you're looking forward to in the Baki season, like specifically a fight or interaction that you're looking forward to be animated?
I already know the Retsu fans are going to be going crazy, and Katsumi fans, because everyone, I mean, from what I've seen at least, everyone thinks of Katsumi as a jobber because, I mean, well, he is a jobber.
Yeah, he's been a jobber so far.
It's just a lot of crazy stuff this arc that's going to be happening, and I think as well, another crazy interaction, Yujiro versus Pickle.
I'm looking forward particularly to Baki a lot. Like, obviously, main character, not much of a shocker. I'm just really on the Baki hype train right now, like specifically him. I'm just trying to see him throw hands with every single person, seeing him train, all that stuff. Katsumi's interaction will be cool. Like, if they animate it correctly, I think you know what I'm talking about. That will be fire.
Like, I think the motion of his techniques, like, it might be like on some Mob Psycho One Punch Man illustration, you know, like those type of details.
Bro, that would be wild, bro. Listen, if they pull out all the stops for this, right? Because I think the seasons have been kind of consistently upping their quality, and if they do the same thing with this next season of Baki, it's gonna be when it's needed, right? It's going to be very, very, very visually interesting, and obviously Baki has always been a series that leaned more heavily into its fights. If it's able to get that higher tier animation, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Baki is some of the coolest fights of the year whenever it comes out.
I would have to agree. And also, to further elaborate on your point of being excited for Baki overall, I'm also hyped for Baki as well, specifically because for season 3 at least, the main complaints I've been seeing is how, like, well, for, you know, obviously anime only people, they're like, oh, there was kind of a lack of Baki, which this arc, or the prison arc at least for Baki fights, it was definitely lacking. However, the one fight he had was pretty big. So I'm overall excited to see him not only have his first interaction with Pickle, but also his second interaction, because I think the Pickle fight, I think Pickle is his first, like, actual challenge, like the first person that beats him up and he has to overcome, besides Oliva.
For sure. I'm excited to see how this goes down. Overall, I mean, this season is definitely going to be one that has a lot more action. It's going to, I think, be front loaded with quite a little bit of exposition and dialogue talking about Pickle, how he came into existence, all those things, right? So that might be boring to, like, anime viewers or people that really just want to get into the nitty-gritty fights and kind of like the clashing between characters at first. However, once the ball gets rolling in this arc, it really does get rolling, and you'll just see like non-stop fights back to back to back, characters training after training, and it's just going to be an overall, I think, really fun season to watch.
Yeah, I hope the quality is upped specifically just so people can be a little more invested, because yeah, there are people who do believe the Baki narrative is quite valid, but let's be honest, most people are just kind of looking at it for the fights. Because in season 3, I mean, I've been seeing people saying, oh, this is boring and stuff, oh, Guevara's kind of lame, even though Guevara is really solid. And I think the prison arc overall narratively comes together and is definitely up there in terms of Baki arcs. Like, I wouldn't call it my least favorite arc at all.
Obviously, I will say, expect a lot of weirdness from this arc. However, if you're watching this video and care enough to watch Baki in the first place, you're probably prepared and understand. But yeah, this arc is also going to be pretty weird. There's going to be some pretty interesting concepts thrown out there. So just be warned. The anatomy is going to get even crazier. Like with like Pickle.
8 feet tall, like 400 pounds.
One thing I didn't even think of, Jack versus Pickle is also going to be kind of wild.
Oh my, yo, that's literally going to be like, bro, that's honestly, if the cards are played right, like I said earlier, it might be like some Hulk versus Thanos type shit where everyone is going fucking crazy. One more thing before we end this video off. Ronan, when do you think the season is going to end? Like, what specific part in the manga do you think it's going to end off? Because in my opinion, I think if it's going to be like 23 episodes or over 20 episodes, I think it could definitely reach up to Yujiro versus Oliva or the beginning of that.
I honestly, I think it would be cool if it ends off like at the build up for it, or like kind of the prelude to their encounter. Maybe if it's
like maybe if they like meet up at the library or something.
Yeah. If they build up to it and then they cut it off so that when the next season starts, we can just literally just get straight into hands, right? That's what I'm kind of foreseeing, somewhere around that area. I think, like you said, seeing Eugero and then Oliva kind of like prepare to fend off, whether or not it's just talk or whether or not they actually get ready to box, who knows? But I think somewhere around that area is when we're going to see this season kind of come to a close.
Yeah, and with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, this Baki season has the potential to not only be the best narratively, have the best fights, but overall is going to be the longest and most action-packed season. And if you guys are excited for Baki Season 4, let me know down in the comments and what moments you would like to see be animated. Now, with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, as I said in the intro, be sure to go and subscribe to Ronan. His channel will be linked in the description. And be sure to go and follow my Twitter. You know, subscribe if you're new. You guys already know what's going on.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was always pretty fun to talk about Baki. If this video does particularly well, we may do another type of Baki video on my channel. So hopefully you guys blow this video up, do your thing. And anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this Baki discussion.
And with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you all in the next one.